Okay, well, I am in year 22 of teaching and about to head to Chick-fil-A to have a little breakfast. And I just been wanting to make a little video because I just kind of want to reflect on some of my thoughts about teaching and what's going on, because it's fresh in my mind right now. So I have a week and a half left of school, and that is just crazy. It's so bizarre to think. And it hasn't even really hit close to home. Like it hasn't dawned on me. I guess it just doesn't feel real because my room is still totally intact. I'm busy teaching. Some people who are leaving and may be able to tear the room down and pack it up, but when you're teaching a classroom and you're a gen ed teacher, there are no days of just kind of chilling out. And especially I teach kindergarten. We're not coasting at the end like some grades might do. Some grades, they have the STAR test, which is the big standardized test that we put way too much emphasis on in the state of Texas. So I think it's kind of they can kind of coast a little bit toward the end, and trust me, hey, they deserve it completely. The stress and pressure put on teachers and students for that is completely ridiculous. Anyway, but I guess, this year was so strange. The pandemic occurred in the school year 2019-2020. So in March 2020, spring break, we didn't come back to school. And so, the next school year, we did come back, and I was teaching first grade that year. Well, that year was okay. The kids were, it was normal. We had the masks, and oh my goodness, I can't believe I did not put my seatbelt on. I never do that. We had the masks and the social distancing, and that was hard to do. The social distancing. The masks were not bad. The kids were fine with it, and I truly didn't mind. But the social distancing was hard because you couldn't have tables and stuff. But it was okay. But then I got moved to teach kindergarten, and oh my goodness, that was different because some of those kids were 3.5 when the pandemic started, and they had been in nothing. They hadn't been to church, they hadn't been to Mother's Day out, they hadn't been to pre-K, daycare, nothing. And so it was like they were almost feral. I mean, the behaviors that I have seen, the extreme ones, and this is a nice area, were some of them were seriously like 2 and 3-year-olds, like toddlers running out of the room, screaming no, destroying rooms, hitting teachers. Yes, hitting teachers, refusing to do anything. And so I think it might be interesting. Some people may think, oh, the little ones are really sweet, and they are. They for sure are. But also that's where you're going to find a lot of extreme behaviors, because you're the first person to be an authority figure other than their parents if they've never been to any sort of schooling before. And they're sort of like, they haven't figured out school yet, and they're like, I don't think I really have to tell you what to do. I don't think I have to follow your rules. So I'm just going to say no and refuse to do it. Now, there were some kids who had been in daycare, and what I think was the problem is that they were used to basically being in free stations all day. And, hey, and that's a normal part of growing, at that age, playing. You learn through playing. But then they got to school, and it's not all free stations in kindergarten. I do think there actually should be more than there is. We have, but it's not. And so they would just look around the room and be like, I want to play with those blocks, or I want to play with whatever. And I don't want to do this activity. I don't want to have to draw a picture of myself and whatever we were doing, or learn how to write my letters. And I had two who would throw a fit and completely destroy my room. I mean, I'm talking taking my laptop, throwing it off of my desk, throwing things off of other kids' desks, tearing things off of the wall. I had to put up all of my station stuff, like up high. I couldn't have it out. I had to totally just I had to change everything. And the thing is, when you have somebody like that in your classroom who's constantly exploding, because that's what's happening. I had two. Nobody feels safe. You know, what happens is the principal or somebody comes in and the whole room has to clear, and they have to coax the kid out somehow, and then the room has to get cleaned up, and I mean, it's just a nightmare. And so I don't know how it happened, but whatever, well, like, there's some different things that happen, but I didn't have those situations for long, but I have had coworkers in those situations, and who continue throughout the year. And the thing is, when you teach kindergarten, there are clearly kids who have issues that haven't been identified, and it seems like we just kind of go, well, they're little, let's just document. And so that's what we do. We document. Let's just watch it, see how things go. And that's exactly what we do. I'm going to Chick-fil-A right now. But we do it to the detriment of everyone. The kid loses a year of instruction, basically, and the other kids do. That's what I noticed. I have a colleague, or actually, more than one, and all of their attention is focused on one person. And so sometimes you'll get kids who just are constantly trying to flee the room, and that's your job. And then, administration is like, well, how come you haven't completed your testing? Well, because I'm trying to keep this one child inside the classroom all day, every day. And I'm also responsible for teaching the other 17 or 18 kids how to read, how to write, how to add and subtract. I mean, we're not talking, kindergarten's not just playing anymore like it used to be when I was a kid. We learned our letters. I don't remember if we learned sounds, but we learned our letters and we played. It was half day kindergarten. And now it is you learn to read. You want your kids to be reading at a DRA level 4 or 6 by the end of kindergarten. And, knowing a good number of sight words. At least 25 sight words is the state requirement, but I mean, really, I think 50 they can easily do 50. And that helps with their reading levels for sure. So that's that's a huge crux of the issue, because I kind of liken it to being like a doctor who is asked to see all of his patients all day at once. So let's say you have 17 patients. You're going to see them all day at once. And you need to make sure you're doing everything for them that is on their, specialized plan, their 504 or whatever, all their accommodations. Hold on.